finish of my second act.
Have you a third act, Chief?
Oh, yes, Graham. As the curtain rises on the third act of my opera, I'm elected alderman. The first thing I did was to take my uncle out of the street cleaning department and give him a job in the zoo. He's supposed to take care of the buffalo that's up there, you know. And every time, Graham, every time that the buffalo falls in the mud, my uncle gets a shovel. That's to shovel off the buffalo. Now, Mr. Morgan, you know, Graham, that's the man who owns the department store. Mr. Morgan marries a rich society woman. She is a blue blood. And you can tell that she is a blue blood because when she blushes, the blood surges to her face. You can actually see it. It's a sort of a blue surge, you know. Do you remember O'Rourke? That's the man that was always with that Morgan man, you know. Well, I'll tell you about him, Graham. I gave him a job in the National Guard as a commander of a corps of soldiers. But I had to discharge him because he was rotten to the core. Are you enjoying it, Graham? I love it so. Well, Dixie, you know. Dixie, that was my sweetheart in the second act. She wanted to marry me right away, but I didn't want to leave my mother. So I fell in love with an old maid, and the old maid couldn't get a husband. In fact, she'd been tamed down so much she looked like a bedspread. That was good, Graham. So, Dixie got jealous, Graham, and she went abroad and married 3 Englishmen with titles while automobiling through Europe. First, she married the Earl of Kensington in London, and 500 miles north of London, she married the Earl of Gloucester, and 500 miles west of there, she married another Earl. Thank goodness she changed her Earl every 500 miles.
Oh, Chief, you're impossible. What about the letters we have to answer?
All right, Graham, all right.
Here's one from Millville, New Jersey.
Oh, yes.
Dear Chief, there have been many inventions, and each one had a definite purpose. Can you tell me the reason for the invention of twin beds? Signed, Inquisitive.
Dear Inquisitive, I'll tell you why twin beds were invented. Onions.
Here's one from a college.
Oh.
I think this fellow is trying to kid you, Chief.
Oh.
It says, Dear Chief, if you are so bright, answer this one. When I die and go to heaven, how will I get a coat on over my wings? Signed, Freshman.
Dear Freshie, you may not go to heaven. What you want to worry about is, if you don't go to heaven, how are you going to put your pants on over your tail?
Here's one from Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Yeah. Dear Chief, 2 girls are in love with me. One is a young and beautiful, but very poor, and I love her, while the other one is much older, very homely and worth millions. Which one shall I marry? Signed, In a Quandary.
Oh, dear In a Quandary, by all means follow the dictates of your own heart and marry the young, beautiful girl, even though she is poor. Don't you let anyone talk you out of it. And by the way, when you get a chance, send me the address of the ugly one with the millions. Will you do that? Well, folks, I'll see you next Tuesday.
Why, Chief, you forgot to talk about the gasaloon.
Gasaloon? Oh, you can talk about gasaloon, Graham. I'll stick to my horse. All right, play that, Don, will you?